Well, good afternoon. Today we're testing out the new Campark TC17 4G trail camera and also security camera. And it's a little different than your typical trail camera, and it's a little bit pricier, but it's got a lot more features. First off, it looks a lot like a security camera, and you can use it as a security camera. The big advantage to a 4G cellular trail camera or security camera is you can leave it in some remote places where there's no Wi-Fi service. You can get alerted for wildlife or security. For example, I have a Wi-Fi security system from Campark here at the house that's set up, and it works great, but it's running off the internet router in the house connected by Wi-Fi, and it works fine, doesn't cost anything. But if you want to put something out in a remote area, out in the woods, or for example, for security, maybe you have like a piece of property with a cabin or a barn or some sort of remote area that you want to keep an eye on and get notified immediately if something's going on, this is the way to do it. So it has a lot more powerful applications and a lot more flexibility than the typical regular 4G trail camera. So the big things that are kind of hot about this is, first off, it gives you a live view. Got it running on my app right now. There's the live view of it as we're talking. And that's really important because you can't do that with a typical 4G trail camera. And so you can get a live view, and you can turn on a light at night, which is really kind of cool, and I'll show you some examples of that. So if you're looking at wildlife, want to see it in color, you can turn on the light, and the light's actually pretty strong. It also saves short video clips that upload to your phone that you can review. And most 4G trail cameras just save static images, and usually pretty small images. And of course the other thing is it has pan and tilt functions, so you can remotely tilt the camera up and down or side to side and zoom in up to 5 times, which I'll show you some examples of that. So you really have a lot of flexibility, a lot of power with this camera. So let's go over the camera. It's meant to be mounted like this, like your typical security camera. If you mount it like this, it's not going to be waterproof because this is where the solar power plugs in, and this is where your SIM card and your SD card plug in. This is also where you charge it. You want to charge it completely for overnight the first time you use it. Get it completely charged, and then from then on you can use the attached solar panel. And you want a formatted SD card in there because you're going to basically save things to the SD card. And that's where the SIM goes. And then down here, you have the on-off switch and the USB input for the charger. And the solar charger comes with it, which is kind of handy. And it's got a nice long cord on it. And I've been using this for 2 weeks now, including using it through Hurricane Nicole. So it's been pretty well torture tested for the last 2 weeks and really working great. And there's a mount for the solar panel. And this is the mount for the camera itself. So again, the camera is going to be mounted like this. And then you can either mount it underneath a eave or a shelf or something like that, or you can mount it on a wall or whatever. And then it also has a traditional belt mount for putting it around a tree or any number of things. And the belt mount goes through the bracket, and the bracket attaches to the camera. And it's really a neat thing, really easy to set up, really easy to mount, and it's worked really well. The fit and finish is really nice on this. It's it's pretty much modeled after a traditional security camera, but it's got the camouflage look to it. Now I found the 4G service to work really well with this. These are your two 4G antennas here for the unit. And it comes with a SIM card, and it can use any number of SIM cards. You could use SIM Hero or any number of SIM cards, but it comes with one called EIoT Club, or Internet of Things Club. And it actually comes preloaded with 100 megabytes of service. Test it out with your free data allowance for a while. Now the one thing you got to remember is that this 4G trail camera or security camera has a lot of really cool features, with being able to control the camera, been able to record live video for any length of time, running a night light. With all these neat features and all these fun things to do with it, it's going to use more cellular data. So, you are going to burn through a cell plan, so you can shop around. EIoT Club SIM card, I inserted that and it worked fine. And because I'm testing it really hard for a couple of weeks, I'm going to burn through a lot of data. So I went online and onto their site, and I bought 2 gigabytes of data for $15. And that's for like 30 days of 2 gigabyte data to try it out, and it really works good. So to make it work is you just install the app by scanning this QR code with your camera. And then you start the app and you just scan the QR code on the camera. And like a lot of these systems now, they're really simple to get going. I think within about 2 or 3 minutes, I had it going on my phone. So I've got the app running on my phone, and I'll put my little bear buddy here in the camera so you can see it. That's live. The best way to do it is go to full screen here. So you go to full screen and pick HD, and then you just start taking a video. And it's as simple as that. You can take a video, and also has two-way audio to listen and talk. I really enjoyed using this camera for 2 weeks. The only negative that I came across when using it, was that occasionally the audio was a little scratchy. I don't know if it was interference or what, but every once in a while the audio would be a little staticky. But other than that, it was not a big deal. It's still intelligible. It's just not as clear as I would like it all the time. Now on the app, you can see a live view and control a live view and record at high definition from the live view. You can also go back and review your triggers and your other live views that you made. So here's just an example of going back and looking at one I took 3 or 4 days ago, and what's kind of cool, you can see that's one where I'm running the light, and you can get full color video at nighttime by using the light. And with the solar power and the onboard battery, it seems like the light got a lot of use out of it. There was a couple of times when I left the light on for quite a bit of time, and it seemed to work fine. And then of course the solar will charge up every day and get it charged up again. I'm really kind of off using batteries. I mean, solar power for trail cameras instead of buying dozens and dozens of batteries is the way to go. Here's an example. You can see a little bit of that static on the audio. I'm not exactly sure what was causing that, but that's the only negative there. Was occasionally you would get some static on there, and that could be just interference or something. For one thing, I'm running it pretty close to the ground, which is kind of unusual. So we go back to live. And you can see it really has a really good latency and response time with that included SIM card. And then here's your controls for the camera, and it does a great job of zooming. This is live, so there's very little latency in the zoom and pan and tilt function. If you have like a cabin or something out there in a remote place that you're keeping an eye on, and you have that ability to pan and zoom in when you get an alert, and then make a video in high definition, that's kind of a really nice feature to have. And I really found the response and latency of it to be excellent. I found that the 4G Trail Cam app was really reliable and robust, and really didn't crash on me. So the UCON app worked really well, and here is the settings. You can give it a name, store it to cloud video or the storage card. I have it on both. I did not investigate whether the cloud storage is included or anything like that. I'm generally not one to use the cloud storage because I just as soon have it on my own micro SD card for myself. Here's an example of a video that I recorded live in HD in real time while looking at it in live mode of a feral cat that I've been dealing with back in the jungle behind the house. And you can see here I just turned on the light so I get color vision at night. And that's really a nice function. You can also set it up to where it'll always run color vision at night. And it's, as soon as the sensor senses that it's night, it'll switch the color, the light will come on. You can see the quality is pretty good. I mean, you're considering this is a 4G trail camera. Now again, along with all the features and the higher quality comes, a greater use of 4G data. So it's a trade-off between what you want. If you want to get all the neat features and the higher quality video and the short 10-second video immediate notification rather than just a small grainy picture that most 4G trail cams give you, then this thing will do that, but it'll use more data. And you just go back and return to live view. And you can see I just did that in real time. And you can see just how fast the network is and how responsive the app and the camera is. So it's really been a lot of fun. This clip illustrates the effectiveness of the white light for capturing true color video of wildlife at night, and a rather large area is lit up by the small light. I also demonstrate here the pan and tilt function to center the camera on a wildlife subject you're watching for better videos, and you can also zoom in rather clearly as I've shown in other examples. And here's another example of video clarity at night with the light on. The next videos show Mother Raccoon and her only kit before Hurricane Nicole and during Nicole. Of course the camera lens was wet, but there were no issues with the wind and water affecting the camera system or 4G cellular reception with the hurricane. This area is too far from Wi-Fi coverage to use Wi-Fi trail cameras to monitor.